a senior controller at Beiersdorf, Malaysia. And lastly, there will be a Q&A, question and answer session at the end of the program. Before I pass the screen to Ms. Bettina, I'm very honored to introduce our speaker. Ms. Bettina N studied in international business for her bachelor's degree at Multimedia University before becoming an event sales and marketing executive, and later as data analyst in Accenture Solutions in Berhad. At the end of 2017, she was a subject matter expert before joining CIMA Southeast Asia Berhad as an associate specialist. Without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Bettina to deliver her speech. Ms. Bettina, the screen is all yours.
Right. Thanks, Atlan, the MC, for that brief introduction. Right. Yeah. Hello. Hi, and good evening, everyone. Yeah, very good evening to everyone, and thank you so much, IIUM, for having CIMA here with us today. Right. So yeah, before I begin the session, let me just briefly introduce myself again. Yes, my name is Bettina, but you can just call me Bet in short, right? No one really calls me by my full name. You can just call me Bet, and I'm under the BD team here in CIMA, Malaysia, in charge of university engagement, right? So yeah, since we are on the time constraint here, I'm allocated 30 minutes for my session today. Let me try to keep my session as short and sweet as possible, and to cover all the important things for you guys to know a little bit regarding the CIMA professional qualification, right? So during my sharing today, I will briefly introduce you guys regarding CIMA, our exams, how they are structured, the exemptions that you guys are eligible for, and of course, the pathway or the program that we have collaborated with IIUM as well, that you guys are also eligible to enroll for, right? So let me just quickly share my screen. Let me know if you guys can't see the screen, okay? Okay.
Now we can see the screen.
Okay. So yeah, before I dive deeper into our various programs and pathway, the exams and whatnot, let me just give you a little background regarding CIMA for those of you who are not so familiar with our qualification, right? So CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, right? That's what it stands for. So CIMA, we were founded way back in 1919, 1919. So before you and I even existed, you and I even born, CIMA already existed, right? So currently we are indeed the world's leading and largest professional body of management accountants, right? So that is the main thing, I would say, right? That is the main thing that sets us apart from the other professional qualification, which is our focus, which is in management accounting, right? So CIMA, we are indeed one of the 5, if I'm not mistaken, we are one of the 5 professional qualification in Malaysia that is scheduled under the Accountants Act 1967. Okay, so what does that mean is that upon acquiring your CIMA membership later on, right, if you guys were to enroll for CIMA, you can easily apply for the MIA membership juga lah, because we are also recognized under the Malaysian Institute of Accountants, right? And as you guys know, to be a chartered accountant here in Malaysia, you guys have to be part of a professional body. You guys have to be part of MIA lah kan. So yeah, once you have gotten your CIMA membership, you can easily apply for your MIA membership as well, which enables you to practice as a chartered accountant here in Malaysia without having to sit for any extra examination or whatsoever, right? Okay. Okay, let's continue. So yeah, this is just some generic numbers for you guys, right? Because people or students are often confused on all these acronyms that we have, right? Because if you see our latest logo now juga, it is not just CIMA, but it's actually AICPA and CIMA, right? So people are often confused with all these acronyms, right? Why kejap we call ourselves CIMA lah, why kejap AICPA, why kejap CGMA, right? So to give you guys a little background, right? So CIMA, back in 2011, right? Back in 2011, CIMA and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, or the American Institute of CPAs, we actually came into a joint venture, right? We came into a joint venture. So together, we are actually under one organization, under one umbrella, right? We are under what we call the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, or just the association in short, we call ourselves, right? Because the whole name is actually quite a mouthful, right? You want to introduce yourself as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. So in short, we just call ourselves the association, right? So CIMA and AICPA, we are indeed different professional bodies, right? Because as you guys know, the American Institute of CPAs is a little bit different, right? Because in America, different states have different regulation. So CIMA, AICPA memang different bodies, right? So, but we are governed under one entity, right? We are governed under one entity under the association, right? So I hope that's that clarifies the kit, because people are confused. Why CIMA, AICPA, CIMA, AICPA, right? So together, right, CIMA, AICPA, we are actually represent almost 700,000 finance professionals worldwide. We are scattered around 190 countries and territories worldwide as well, right? So for CIMA, right, just CIMA, we have 3 main global hubs around the world, right? Global hub, but we have offices, of course, we have offices around the world, tapi when it comes to global hub, we only have 3, right? So these 3 main global hubs, one is here in KL, Malaysia, right? Our office is actually just next to One Utama, near the One Utama, right? Everybody knows One Utama. So yeah, our office is at One Utama, right? Our second global hub is actually in Durham, US, and our third global hub is in UK, London, right? So global hub in the sense that we can say that decision making can happen much more faster, right? In our KL office here juga, we have our accounts payable team, accounts receivable team, we have our HR, we have our customer service and all that, all under our KL office here, right? So what is management accounting? And it's important, right? Because when we talk about accounting, there is always 2 main branches of accounting, as you guys know, financial accounting and management accounting, right? So people also, students also every time ask, right, what is the difference between ACCA and CIMA, right? So I'm sure some of you guys have that questions lingering in your mind juga, kan? What is ACCA? What's the difference between ACCA and CIMA, right? So ACCA, very clearly, right, they are more towards financial accounting, and CIMA, they are more towards management accounting, kan? So financial accounting, as we know, it is the provision, or it is the branch of accounting that is responsible in preparing, right, an entity's financial statement, right? So this statement can come in the form of your income statement, your cash flow balance, or etc., 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 right? And the users of this accounting information are mostly external stakeholders, right? Financial accounting, the users of that accounting information are mostly external users, such as your suppliers, your government agency, your shareholders, your customers, and whatnot, right? But on the other hand, right, management accounting, the users are mostly for internal users, right? Such as your directors, your managers, your SLT, right? Your senior leadership team, right? So management accounting, in layman terms, right? It is the provision, right? Provision of information to people within the organization, right? Bukan external, tapi within the organization, to help them plan and control activities and to make better decision, right? So management accounting basically is all about decision making, planning, anticipating what's next, right? How do you derive value from your numbers in the statements, for example? How do you make sense of the reports that is being presented to you, right? Because at its simplest, right, conventional accounting qualification mostly prepare you for roles such as in financial accounting, tax management and auditing, cost accounting, for example, right? But management accounting, on the other hand, it focuses more towards driving business and performance across the board, right? It focuses in driving business and performance across the board to advise on governance, for example, right? To advise on governance, to advise on regulatory, to advise on risk strategies, to enhance the effective management of an organization, for example, right? So at the end of the day, right, your decision whether to take up CIMA, ACCA, CPA Australia, or any other professional qualification, right? It really, I would say that it really comes down to your interests, right? Your interests and also your career goals, I would say, right? Because of course, there's no saying that one qualification is better than the other, right? It's just that different qualification focuses in different areas of accounting, right? So having said that, okay, so having said that, this is what we call our competency framework, right? This is actually the backbone of our syllabus, we can say, right? So For CIMA, every 4 to 5 years, we will update our syllabus according to the market needs and market trends these days, right? So currently, we are using the 2019 syllabus, right? 19, 20, 21, 22. So maybe in 2023 or 2024, we will update our syllabus again, right? Because before the 2019 syllabus, we were actually using the 2015 syllabus, right? So these are basically the skill sets that we have incorporated into our syllabus. Right, these are the skill sets that we have incorporated into our syllabus. And so as you can see, there are 5 skill sets, basically, right? Technical, business, people, leadership, and last but not least, digital skills, right? So these are the 5 skill sets. Okay, so tadi, that one is competency framework. This one is our qualification framework, right? So under CIMA, actually, we have a total of 16 exams. Yeah, 16, 16, right? Not 60, because sometimes when I say 16, people terdengar 60, right? So yeah, 16 exams, 16, but I'm only showing you 12 exams here because as a degree holder or even a master's holder or diploma holder, right? You will either be starting from the operational, management or strategic level, depending on which program that you enroll for, right? So our exam structure juga, we have 2 types of exam structure, right? So first of all, we have objective test, MCQ question, multiple choice. And second of all, we have essay-based question, which consists of short answers, long answers, and sometimes calculation here and there, right? So as you can see, the framework here, it is divided into 3 levels and also 3 pillars. So how do you progress through each level is such as, for example, right, if you will begin at the operational level, contoh lah, right, if you were to begin at the operational level, you first have to complete your EPF, right? Because your EPF, all the EPF that you see here, E1, P1, F1, E2, P2, F2, E3, P3, F3, these are basically the 9 subjects, right? Give me one sec. How do I go back? Okay. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying earlier, these are basically the 9 subjects that you'll be studying under CIMA, right? These are the 9 subjects that you'll be studying under CIMA, and these 9 subjects, they are all basically objective test question, right? But under each level, as you can see, there is also a case study exam, right? Operational case study exam, management case study exam, and strategic case study exam, right? So your case study exam is merely an exam. It is merely a test lah. It is not something you go and study ke apa, right? Tapi your EPF are subjects that you'll be learning under CIMA, right? So for example, in order for you to sit the operational case study exam, you first have to complete your EPF, right? Because your case study exam, it is actually an integration of the topics from EPF, right? So once you have completed the operational case study exam, for example, you will be awarded with a diploma in management accounting from CIMA. A certificate will be awarded to you, right? And then you can just move on to the next level, management level, strategic level, same process juga. EPF followed by case study, EPF followed by case study, right? So our strategic case study exam is actually our last exam. So once you have completed this paper with at least 3 years, right, of relevant working experience, you can go ahead and apply for your CIMA membership, right? So once you have become a CIMA member, the designation that will be awarded to you is called the ACMA CGMA designation, right? ACMA stands for Associate Chartered Management Accountant, and CGMA stands for Chartered Global Management Accountant. Why true designation? Why true title is because of the AICPA punya joint venture lah, right? Because we joint venture dengan AICPA, so the AICPA punya member also sharing the same designation as us. Only the CGMA punya title lah, right? ACMA is only for CIMA members, right? So yeah, so for the case study exam juga, we have 4 windows in a year whereby you can sit and schedule for your case study exam, right? It is not open all year round, right? We only have 4 windows in a year, namely February, May, August, and November, as listed on the left-hand side here, right? February, May, August, and November. So if you're wondering whether the exam that you are going to sit, whether is it online ke, physical ke apa, so for now, students have 2 options lah to sit for your exam. You can either go to the nearest test center to you, right? Not just within Klang Valley, tapi all around Malaysia juga lah, and the world lah, basically, right? You can search for the nearest test center and go and sit for your exam at the nearest physical center, or alternatively, you can sit for your exam remotely, right? Meaning to say online at home, as long as you have a strong internet connection lah. That's the most important thing, right? Jangan later you sit for your exam at home, suddenly internet connection problem ke apa, later it will be an issue lah, right? You have to resit for your exam and schedule for another date, right? So of course you don't want that, okay? So yeah, having said that, this is an example of our strategic case study exam past paper, right? If you want to know how CIMA punya exams are structured, you can actually just search in the internet, right? CIMA past year questions. All our past year case study exams can be found online, right? But just to give you a little insight on how is it like. So most of the time, it will look something like this, right? It will be macam 3 to 4 section, and every section ada subtask lah. For example, this one ada subtask A, subtask B, right? So for all our case study exam, you have to role play as someone, right? In this case, you have to role play as a senior finance manager, right? You are the senior finance manager, and you are receiving an email from Mr. Marek here, right? The CFO of the company, right? So the framework that you see here, it is each level, I would say, right? Each level builds on the previous level, right? And each level actually imparts the skills and knowledge that is needed from a finance professional of that level, right? So for example, if you were to start at the operational level, this is our lowest level lah kan. So maybe you have to role play as a junior accountant as a accounts executive So the operational level is the most technical, I would say, out of the 3 levels that we have, right? Because as someone at that level, right, as executive or a junior accountant, you'll be doing a lot of costing, budgeting, and assisting your manager lah kan. But as you move on to the management level, this reflects the work of a middle line manager lah, right? Perhaps you have to role play as the finance manager the senior manager of the team right? So this is where you start to learn about business models, leadership, and all that lah, right? And last but not least, the strategic level. Of course, this reflects the work of the senior leadership team lah, right? The senior leadership team, for example, in this case, you have to role play as a senior finance manager. Sometimes you have to role play as a CFO the director of the company right? So yeah, most of the time, the case study exam will look something like this. It will come in the form of an email, or sometimes it comes in the form of a memo, right? So this is what we call the unseen material. This is what will be presented to you on the day of your exam, right? But actually 6 weeks before your exam, we will be releasing the pre-seen material, right? The pre-seen material, it will consist of information such as the organizational chart, the budgeting, the financial statement, there are competitors, the marketing strategies, all that information about the company, about the industry can be found in the pre-seen material, right? So that's why we release it 6 weeks before your exam for students to go and familiarize with the information and memorize important things here and there, right? So when it comes to exam, because our exams is only 3 hours long, right? All our case study exam is 3 hours long, computer-based exam, right? Yeah, computer-based 3 hours long, right? So the passing score is 80 for the case study, right? 80 out of 150, right? Just a little FYI for our case study exams, okay? Okay, so next, right, I'll be explaining about your pathway, right? Your pathway to the CIMA qualification, right? So of course, under CIMA, we have various programs and pathway depending on your education background, depending on your work experience, right? But as an undergraduate, right? As an undergraduate now, these are the 3 main options for you guys, right? So first thing first, we have what we call the CIMA normal pathway, right? This is our traditional pathway, right? It is not really recommended, truth be told, because it requires more exam and also, of course, more money, right? But either way, it is still an option for you guys, right? So the normal pathway, whereby for degree, right, degree students majoring in accounting or accounting and finance, you'll be starting from the management level with 8 exams to go, starting from the management level, meaning to say that you'll be exempted from the operational level, right? However, for the normal pathway, you can only enroll for it after you graduate, right? You can only enroll for it after you graduate. You can only claim your exemptions after you have graduated, right? You cannot do it concurrently while you are still a student in IIUM, right? So that's the normal pathway, right? The second pathway, which perhaps some of you guys have heard of, it is what we call the A-Star program, right? So the A-Star program, it is not a new program, right? It has been running for, I think, like 4 or 5 years here now in Malaysia, right? So if I'm not mistaken, we first launched the program in 2018, right? 2018, I still belum joined CIMA, right? So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was launched in 2018. And the A-Star program, it is a unique pathway for high achiever students, I would say, right? Whereby those who are eligible for the program are only required to sit for one exam, right? The strategic case study exam. That's why it is very appealing to a lot of students, because only one exam required, kan? One exam and then you are basically done. Right, so of course I'll explain a little bit more later. But the last program is what we call the finance leadership program, right? So this program, it was launched in Malaysia just recently last year, and via this pathway, students are only required to sit for 3 exams, which are our 3 case study exam, right? Our OCS, operational case study, MCS, and SCS, strategic case study exam. Right, so once you have completed the exam, right, so no matter you come in from A-Star ke, FLP ke, normal pathway ke, the exams and the syllabus are the same, right? The exams and syllabus are the same, because sometimes students ask, is the A-Star program harder than a normal pathway ke, or is the FLP easier than A-Star, right? So it doesn't work that way, right? So the exams and syllabus are the same. The only difference is perhaps the learning method and your entry point. That's the only difference, right? Everything else is the same, right? So the A-Star program, for those who are actually interested, right, there are a few of your seniors who have actually taken on this program as well, right, from IIUM. So this A-Star program, you will be granted a maximum exemptions of 15 out of the 16 papers that we have, right, and only required to complete the strategic case study exam, the last paper that we have, right. So the estimated right, the estimated duration to complete the program is only 3 months, right? Why 3 months? Is because for strategic case study exam, the exam is always at the end of the month, right? Like, for example, 23rd to 25th August, macam tu, right? Always at the end of the month, right? Operational case study exam, beginning of the month. Management case study exam, middle of the month. Strategic case study exam, end of the month, right? So, for example, if you aim to sit for the November exam, contoh lah, right? The exam is at the end of the month, kan? So, for all our A-Star program students, you are required to attend revision classes with us prior to sitting for your exam, right? It is compulsory, right? It is compulsory, no exemption, no compulsory lah, okay? You're compulsory to attend classes with CIMA prior to sitting for your exam, right? So the revision classes will be carried out 1.5 months before your exam, right? So for example, November punya window, classes will begin by early October, right? So you attend your classes for 1.5 months, and straight away, end of November, you duduk for your exam lah. So that's why the estimated duration is only 3 months, right? But of course, certain students take a longer time to complete lah, because they go and self-study ke apa, and then whenever they feel ready, then only they schedule for the exam, right? But typically 3 months is enough for you to complete the program, right? So the requirement, if you are interested, right? So for the A-Star program, you have to be in your final year majoring in either accounting and finance. The most important thing is your CGPA lah, right? So unfortunately for this A-Star program, we do have a CGPA requirement, which is 3.5 or above lah, right? So if you are asking whether can I apply for the program after I have graduated, the answer is yes. Right, because we kept the program at 5 years since students graduated, right? So maybe 2-3 years down the road, after you graduate, then only you wanna apply for the A-Star, also can. Although I can't guarantee that 2-3 years down the road the program will still be around. But for now, yes, we kept the program at 5 years lah, and of course from selected university, IIUM being one of them, right? So for scholarship wise, good news as well, right? The A-Star program, it is being funded by Yayasan Peneraju, whereby 100% of your exam fee and also tuition fee will be funded by Peneraju. You don't have to top up anything, right? On top of that, right, you also have maximum 2 additional receipt attempts, which will be funded by Peneraju as well, right? The only thing for the A-Star program, if you want to apply for the scholarship, is that you have to apply. You can only apply for the scholarship after you have graduated. That is the Peneraju punya terms and condition lah, right? If you want to apply and seek for the program concurrently with your degree, also can. You can bear the fees yourself lah, right? So one thing that I missed to mention earlier is that for the A-Star program and also for the finance leadership program, you don't have to wait until you graduate to enroll for the programs, right? You can enroll for it concurrently with your degree, as opposed to the normal pathway. where you have to wait until you graduate lah kan, right? For the A-star and FLP, you can do it concurrently, right? So for those students who say, I want to do it during my final year, right? I want to sit for the exam during my final year, by all means, please do, right? But in that case, you have to bear the fees yourself lah, right? For the tuition classes, for those students who bear the fees themselves, you will be attending classes with what this tuition provider called Wisdom Business Academy, or WBA in short. So Wisdom Business Academy, they are CIMA largest business school in Southeast Asia. Yeah, in Southeast Asia, not the world, right? They are the largest business school in Southeast Asia, and they are based in Sri Lanka, right? So the A-star, not the A-star program, tapi the CIMA is very popular in Sri Lanka lah. You just say CIMA in Sri Lanka, everybody will know regarding CIMA, right? So yeah, the tuition provider is based in Sri Lanka. So the classes will be carried out virtually during the weekend only, so as to not interrupt your working schedule or your studying lah, right? It will be carried out during the weekend only, right? But for those students who are under Peneraju, right? For those students who are under Yayasan Peneraju, you are required to attend classes with Noesis X, right? Noesis X is our local tuition provider, based in KL here, right? They are located near Sunway Velocity around there. So yeah, for Peneraju scholars, Noesis is the appointed tuition provider for Peneraju scholars. So instead of WBA, you attend classes with Noesis, also during the weekend only. So yeah, right? If you want to learn more regarding the scholarship or what, you please feel free to let me know lah later, any questions, okay? So the Peneraju scholarship, one thing to note as well, it is not open all year round, of course, right? They only have 2 intakes in a year lah, right? The May intake and also the February intake and also August intake, right? Only 2 intake in a year, August and February, okay? So that's the A-star program, right? Next is the Finance Leadership Program. Okay, so for the Finance Leadership Program, or FLP in short, so this program, just to give you guys a little background, this FLP program, it was launched in the US in 2018, right? It was piloted in the US first in 2018, and just recently last year, 2021, it was launched in Malaysia, or within the APAC region, right? So what's unique about this Finance Leadership Program is that it is a competency-based digital learning experience provided for students, right? Meaning to say that it is 100% online, right? Of course, the exam syllabus, everything based on CIMA, the learning method is the only difference compared to the other programs, right? Because this Finance Leadership Program, it is 100% online, meaning to say that you are able to complete the whole program at the comfort of your own home lah, so to say, right? So the Finance Leadership Program, and at the end of the day, students who enroll via this program, you are able to complete the qualification in a much quicker time, because you are not required to sit for the objective test. You're only required to sit for our case study exam, right? Our 3 case study exam, right? So in the interest of time, let me very quickly show you how the platform looks like, because without showing you the platform, it is very hard to imagine what this FLP is all about, right? So as I mentioned earlier, FLP, everything online lah kan. So when you log into the platform, this is actually the first page that you'll be seeing, right? But since we have limited time, let me just cut to the chase and show you the important things, right? So for you to enroll on your learning juga, very senang, right? First thing first, as you can see, got operational management and strategic level lah kan. So the boxes that you see here, these are what we call competencies lah. And this competency is exactly the same as our objective test. For example, digital finance is our E1. Management accounting, the orange color ni is our P1. Financial reporting, green color is our F1. So you already have your EPF, and all the study materials also already provided to you. Everything already dumped into this one platform, everything embedded into this one platform. So all you have to do is just go through the learning lah, right? Everything provided to you already. So all you have to do is go through the learning, right? So once you have gone through all the learning already, at the end of it, there will be an assessment lah. Tapi the assessment also tak banyak, only like 6 questions only, and you have to get half correct, like 3/6 to pass that particular topic lah. So once you already pass the topic, everything gone through already, exercises all check, you will be receiving a little check mark like this lah, right? So the competency, as you can see, it is further divided into skill sets lah kan. The bubbles that you see inside here, these are what we call skill sets lah. So once you have completed all the topics in the competencies, you'll be receiving a big check mark macam ni lah. So all the topics here have to receive the big check mark, right? All have to check. Then only you can schedule for your case study exam, right? If you schedule for your case study exam before completing all the learning here, right? Sometimes students very sneaky kan. So yeah, the system, right? The system will automatically detect, this fellow never completed, then schedule for exam, right? So the system will automatically cancel your exam scheduling, your exam appointment. So yeah, it is compulsory for you to complete the competencies prior to sitting for exam, right? So yeah, that's the finance leadership program. Very unique, everything online, right? Don't have to attend classes, no textbook, don't have to carry around, everything online within this one platform, right? So for those of you who are interested to explore, right? Just explore more on this finance leadership program, feel free to just approach me later on. What I can do for you is to create a test account, right? Test account, sama macam ni, you can log in and explore on the platform first prior to deciding whether to enroll ke tak, right? So that's the finance leadership program, right? So very easy, you just go through all the learning and then sit for the case study exam, right? Everything online. So I guess all this we can just skip first, right? After this, so I'll pass you the slides so you can slowly go through it as well, right? So the FLP juga, we have additional resources as well, right? All these mock exams are also already embedded, included in the platform, right? So you don't have to purchase additional from Kaplan or whatsoever, right? So yeah, this is just an example of the e-certificate, right? That will be awarded to you upon completion of the competencies, right? So for example, macam tadi, I already completed digital finance. All these 3 competencies already completed. You'll be awarded with a certificate, right, in digital finance, and then you complete this orange color competency, management accounting, another certificate will be provided to you, right? So along the way, as you progress through the platform, the program here, you get to collect all these little skill certificate along the way as well, right? We will only provide you with the e-certificate, but of course you can print and download the certificate out yourself, right? So this skill certificate, I would say that it is valuable, right? It is valuable to your career in the sense that it is a tangible proof that you can showcase to your employers later on that, look, I've acquired this particular skill sets or knowledge in this particular digital finance, for example, right? So that of course creates trust with you, between you and your employers right? And of course the skill certificate macam motivation right? In this case, I got the skill certificate, so it motivates me to just go on and just continue completing the program, right? It is a sense of achievement, I would say, right? Okay, not showing off, but just showing you how it looks like, macam ni, right? Okay, so moving on. In the interest of time, let me just skip a few slides that is not really important, right? So the requirement for the FLP program, right, as opposed to the A-star program, which have an CGPA requirement, this FLP program, we don't have any CGPA requirement as long as you are majoring in either business, accounting, or finance, and you are an active student from the selected university, IIUM, you can enroll for the program now, right? There's no CGPA requirement or whatsoever. There's no, there's nothing, okay? So again, right, the FLP program as well, it is supported or funded by Yayasan Peneraju, right? But in this case, your exam fees, it is being funded, tapi your tuition fee is only 50% for the finance leadership program, right? As opposed to the ASA program, everything funded, including tuition fee, right? But for the FLP program, only 50% of the tuition fees will be funded. You have to top up around 2,000 ringgit macam tu lah, all right? Only 2,000 ringgit for the tuition classes, right? So this FLP program, you don't have to wait until you graduate, right? As long as you are in your final year, you can already start applying for the Peneraju scholarship, as well as enroll yourself for the finance leadership program, right? As opposed to the A-star, you must wait until you graduate to apply for the scholarship. But when it comes to the finance leadership program, you can start applying for it when you are in your final year, right? When you are in your final year, okay? So this is just some testimonials from our current FLP students, right? So just to give you a little insight, for Malaysia, we have around 15, right? 15 university partners who have partnered with us or collaborate with us to offer the finance leadership program to their students, right? So yeah, QQ here, or Chen Ching Kwan, or we just call him QQ, right? He asked us to call him QQ. He is from MMU. He is an accounting student. He enrolled for the program when he was in his year 2 of studies, and he managed to complete the operational level and the management level within a year, if I remember correctly, with flying colors, right? And only his first attempt, right? Only his first attempt, he managed to pass his operational and management level. So I'm proud of him lah. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say lah. Very proud of him lah, QQ, right? So another student here, right? Trinity. Trinity is from APU, right? Asia Pacific Technology University. So Trinity here is our business student. Actually, she don't have an accounting background or finance background. She is actually a business student who enrolled for the program, right? To upskill herself lah, so to say, right? So yeah, just some testimonial lah to show you guys. Okay, so our partners in the industry, right? This is our partners in the industry. These are the companies, I would say, right? Companies who actually offer the FLP to their employees for professional development, so to say, right? Just a little FYI, because sometimes students every time ask like the companies, this and that. So just to show you guys, right? These are the companies, our partners in the industry. Okay. I think it's almost time's up for me, so no worries. I only left with 2 slides left. Okay, so what does my future career look like, right? This is one of the most common questions that we often receive from students as well, right? Number 1, what is the difference between ACCA and CIMA? Number 2, what can I be after I completed the CIMA qualification, right? So for CIMA, we do not look at your job title, right? We don't do that. We don't look at your job title or this fellow auditor or this fellow analyst, right? We don't do that. What we do is that we look at your day-to-day tasks. Right, we look at your day-to-day tasks, we look at your day-to-day role, what you do, your day-to-day activities, and we will see whether it is relevant to the CIMA qualification. Is it relevant as a management accountant, and all that, right? So these are just, of course, examples of the type of roles that you can pursue after you have completed CIMA. Of course, these are just examples, and of course, it is not limited to these 7, right? It's just example, right? You can maybe few years down the road, right? You can be a finance manager, you can be a business analyst, financial accountant and whatnot, right? If you want to be an auditor, also can, right? There's no saying that if you take CIMA, you cannot become an auditor. Of course can, right? So last but not least, right, CIMA fees and payment, right? So for the A-Star program, let's start for the A-Star program because it is most straightforward, right? So for the A-Star program, the fee is £750, which is equivalent to 4,000 plus Malaysia ringgit, right? 4,000 plus minus Malaysia ringgit, right? £750, which is inclusive of your registration fee, exam fee for the first attempt, and also revision classes. But of course, if you apply for Peneraju, I don't have to worry about this, everything is funded, right? But if you want to bear the fees yourself, you say you want to sit for the exam during your final year, for example, right? Yeah, this is the fee, £750, right? So for the A-Star program, we only have a grace period of 1 year for students to be eligible for this package fee, right? If you have graduated for more than 1 year and then only you want to apply for the program, the fee is actually double, right? In that case, the fee is £1,500. It's double, right? £1,500. So if you want to be eligible for this much lower fee, you apply for the program prior to graduating and 1 year before, and within 1 year since your graduation, right? So yeah, that's the A-Star program, right? Everything inclusive, no extra charges, no hidden charges unless you fail your exam, right? So if you're wondering, if you fail your exam, how many times can I resit? The answer is no limit, right? There's no limit as to how many times you can sit for the exam. You can resit until you pass the exam, right? Of course, we don't hope for that for the student, keep resit. But if you keep failing, and you can always resit for the exam. It's just that every time you sit for the exam, you just have to pay for the exam fee, which is £284 here, right? So case at the exam, £284, right? You don't have to pay the whole 750 again. You just pay for the exam fee, right? That's the A-Star program, right? So for the finance leadership program, it is a little bit different in a sense that it is a yearly subscription basis, right? As you can see, here got 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, right? So the only difference, 1, 2, 3 years is of course the length of subscription. So if you only subscribe for 1 year, you said, I want to do it in 1 year, but if touch wood, right, you didn't manage to complete the program within 1 year, meaning to say that for the subsequent year, for the next year, you have to top up the fees again, £495, in order for you to continue having access to the platform. right? So it is up to you lah. You want to enroll for 1, 2, or 3 years, but typically, if you are required to complete 3 exams, we would always reckon for students to enroll for 2 or 3 years lah, right? Because 1 year to complete 3 levels is a little bit tight, honestly, right? Because you are also juggling with your degree, and maybe later on you are juggling with your work juga lah kan. So 2 years is actually sufficient for you to complete the whole program, right? So you can see the fees here, 495,795, which is approximately the Malaysian ringgit sini, right? So the normal pathway, this is just FYI on how the fees, how CIMA fees are like, right? We have the registration fee here, subscription fee here, and for CIMA, we no longer charge exemptions fee lah, right? Kosong, okay? Sorry. Okay, so this is my contact information, right? My email address, you can just take it down. If later on you have further questions regarding CIMA in general, or regarding the scholarship, regarding A-Star, regarding FLP, regarding anything, right? Please just feel free to drop me an email, and I will surely be responding to you, right? And with that, I think my time is up, right? 9 o'clock now. So yeah, I'll pass the floor back to the MC.
Right, thank you, Ms. Beck, for the sharing. It is very informative input for us. And I would like to remind the participants to fill in the attendance form provided in the chat box. Also get your questions ready if you have any questions to the speaker in the question and answer session later. Moving on, I would like to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Muhammad ZAKI. So Mr. Muhammad ZAKI was an accounting student majoring in finance in International Islamic University, Malaysia. Later, he was the vice president of CIMA Young Leaders. Then he started his career as an account receivable analyst before becoming financial analyst at Colgate, Malaysia. Now he is a senior controller at Beiersdorf, Malaysia. Without further ado, I welcome our speaker, Mr. ZAKI, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Hello, hi everyone. Good evenings. So thank you so much, the moderator, and thank you so much for Bet for explaining about the CIMA. So informative. So nice to meet you, everyone. So I'm gonna share my screen. A second, yeah. So before that, I'm very sorry I cannot share my camera because at the moment my PC, the camera was broken. So I'm really sorry. So so just excuse me on that. So just take a look at my my slides then, right? All right. So our topic for the night is analytical thinking for future accountants. All right. So let's jump right to it. So first, I would like to have a disclaimer. I'm not representing my company for this session. And the data that I use in this presentation actually is very fictional. It's a made up data and actually it's only for educational purposes. All right. So you don't go out, say, oh, ZAKI from this company saying this. So actually I'm putting this disclaimer as the beginning so that you can, I'm not actually representing my company. It's on my own initiative to give you some information. All right. So actually the moderator already introduced about me, but I'm gonna give some small introduction again about myself. So since I don't have camera, right? So I just put my picture here. So this is me, but this one like 3 years back. So you can see me on the side lah. So my full name is Muhammad Zaki bin Norman. You can call me Zaki. So I was a BACC graduate back in 2019 from IUM. And I was actually part of BACC Council as well, head of product somewhere 17 or 18, I can't remember. It's somewhere between that year. And then in the same year, I was employed in Colgate Palmolive Malaysia as an AR analyst. So this is my first job. And my role there is actually more on credit and cash control for C region. So basically, I'm handling 4 countries, which are Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and also Brunei. So our team only consists of 3 people, my boss and the other 2 analysts. So we're handling for all the customers for all the for these 4 countries. And I was in charge for, collection. I was in charge for credit control, credit limitation, what else I can't recall, account receivable as a whole lah. So all the balance sheet on account receivable will be in charge by me. And then after a few years, I've been promoted to be a finance analyst at Colgate-Palmolive Malaysia as well. So this I've been jumped from AR to finance analyst is a big jump for me. So this role actually is on general accounting, but I've been given a special task where I have to do 3 to 4 roles at the same time. So in here, I was handling account payable, I was handling treasury, and I was handling general accounting. And yeah, general accounting, AP, treasury, and also monitoring the profit margin for transfer pricing. So it was quite experience and really improved myself as an accountant a lot during my previous years in Colgate-Palmolive. Then now comes to the year where I have a career switch as a senior controlling at BuyStuff Malaysia. So have you guys heard about BuyStuff before? No, I don't think so, no. So, but I think I'm very sure you know about Nivea, right? So have you used Nivea? You use Nivea deodorant, you use Nivea face wash, and Eucerin, Eucerin skincare products. This is also part of BuyStuff. And also Hands Plus. Hands Plus is the sticker that to recover your wound. Hands Plus, all of these 3 brands actually coming from BuyStuff. All right, so actually Colgate-Palmolive is from US company, BuyStuff is a German company. So I'm switching to regions. And for this BuyStuff, I only handle for Malaysia region only, not like Colgate before. All right, so what's our objective for today? Our objective for today, I only have 2 for you guys. So first, I'm going to brief some insights on finance or accounting role in the business as general. So Bet already explained to you guys the difference between financial accounting and financial accounting and management accounting. But do you know what are the roles inside of those? I'm going to explain to you guys after this. And so because this is very important for you guys to actually see, so when you graduated later on, so you can know which role to apply for. So I think it's very benefit for you guys. And second is I'm gonna give some very basic exposure on how to perform analysis for accounting or finance students. All right. Okay. So let me bring you to our agenda for the night. So first, my agenda is I'm gonna explain what is FMCG. And then I will explain to you guys about finance department as general and what are other departments apart from finance. And then what are the finance role within these departments. And then we will jump to what are the tools that the finance or accountant are using in day-to-day basis for analysis. And then basic steps, only basic steps for analysis. And I'm just going to show you a bit of this, how to apply analysis in accounting and finance and where you guys should learn all of this. And then at the end of the session, we can have a Q&A. All right. So here's come my first question. Have you ever heard of FMCG before? So just check. Have you ever heard of FMCG word before? And what do you know about it? Just a quick, I just want to see a response here. No? It's a simple no, it's okay lah. At least someone is responding to me. Yeah, like what I said, no one is really know about what is FMCG. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so it's good that put this in our slides. All right, so I'm going to show you this picture. So, have you seen this brand before? I'm sure, very sure you are all have seen this before. Yes. Yeah, Coca-Cola, we have Colgate, we have Kellogg's, Nestle, L'Oreal, and Pepsi, P&G. So what's our FMCG stands for? So it stands for fast-moving consumer goods. So whatever that you see in the supermarket, on the retailer, on the stores, on the shops, all of those goods are actually is on FMCG industry. They are called fast moving because you grab and will fast in purchase, fast in selling, fast in stock rotation and stuff, fast in marketing, fast in pricing, competitiveness. So it's all in this industry very fast. So what are the categories that we have in FMCG? We have processed food, we have beverages, we have dry food, we have fresh food, we have even cosmetics and toiletries, frozen food, consumer electronics, like Sony TV, PS5, Xbox, health and hygiene products, what you guys see in Watson and Guardian. So all of these are actually part of FMCG. But usually all of these products are not competing. Let's say for consumer electronic, are not competing with the food. So they are only competing with their own category. All right. So Sony will fight with Apple. I don't know, Samsung will fight with Apple. Coke will fight with Pepsi and other stuff. So just for your quick information, right? But this data is a bit old, I think 4 years back. And the top 10 largest FMCG company in the world at that point of time actually is Nestle. They have like 91 billion of sales, followed by Procter and Gamble, or P&G in short, and then PepsiCo, Unilever, AB InBev, JBS, Tyson Food, and Co, and etc. So actually, it's a huge market because it's everyday products that actually consumers are using, and it's very competitive as well. All right. So what are examples of brands? Actually, I think a lot of you guys didn't know that actually one FMCG company can own a lot of brands. So I'm going to show you an example here, just one example. I'm taking an example for Unilever. Under Unilever, they have like hundreds of brands. So on the top right, you see Dove, is from shampoo, and then right Sunsilk, and then you can go up Saturday Sunlight. They have even Breeze, and then go to Vaseline skincare, and then go to Lipton, the tea, and then to the left side, what we have Cornetto, ice cream maker and stuff. So Unilever is one of the big FMCG company in the world. So they own not just food category, they own up to like skincare, they own up to Sunlight is what home care products, and also body care. So probably you only know about brands, but actually this one brand actually is under a big umbrella company that actually own hundreds of brands. So the way you know how this brand is owned by who, when you took a look at packaging, right? And you read it, and you can manufactured by or imported by. So manufactured usually is the own company, and the imported is actually is the third party or their own company in Malaysia actually import the products from the manufacturing. So you can check down the packaging. Okay, enough with FMCG. So now you all know about my FMCG industry. So I hope you guys interested, to be part of us, because it's very rare to see IIUM students, in FMCG area. So if you guys are interested, just come and join us. It will be great. So next, I'm going to explain to guys about finance teams in general, or in the business as in general. So actually, there are two general finance teams. Usually, right, in the business, there are two general finance teams. First one is accounting team, and second one is financial planning team. So I'm going to explain you what is the difference between these two. So like Beth said, accounting team is a financial accounting team. Financial planning team actually is a management accounting team. All right. All right. So what accounting team does in day-to-day basis? First, accounting team prepare financial statements. This preparation of financial statement is on monthly basis. And then they're going to participate in the monthly or year-end closing. So, at the end of the month, you have to post hundreds of journals, to the accounts. It started. It's all the GL that you have to know. You have to know everything. And then you are the team also actually part of the reconciliation. Reconciliation means here is the bank recon. Any error that actually you found out in the GL when it's not matched, you have to recon, and you also do some journal postings to rectify it. and you're also gonna participate in external or internal audit. So you are actually the team. This team actually is the major team whenever you're dealing with external or internal audit. So in accounting team, what are the roles that actually in accounting teams? So first, we're gonna have an accountant. So this accountant actually is the supervise financial statement as a whole. So any movement in the GL, they're gonna know and they're gonna ask. So it's kind of like our internal audit lah. So it's so many questions coming from accounting team. So if you done something right, so this accountant will come to you. That's how how it's gonna be. And then we have account receivable. So I was part of accounting team before for 2 years, no, for 3 years in Colgate-Palmolive. So account receivable, that they do is on credit control, basically in C2C. C2C stands for credit to cash cycle, and what they do actually is they monitor the collection from customers. Not just collect cash. You have to also monitor the credit limit that they have been given. So whenever that they have a due of a account receivable, right, all the receivable, we have to stop the orders, block them, and then ask them for money. And then we also actually in charge of TTA. TTA is trading term agreement with customers. So whenever we have a new customers, and we will have to be participate with the commercial team and the customer to negotiate with the agreement that we're going to have with them, such as payment terms, such as what goods can be sold, how many stocks you can have for a month, target sales and stuff. And then next we have account payable. Account payable actually is more on vendor related stuff lah. So anything that you have to pay to the vendors, have to go to account payable. So they are the one actually in charge for releasing money. So usually, right, so all the people in the company will be good with the account payable people lah. So it's like because a lot of people have vendors to pay, right? So they need to please this account payable team lah. And then next we have like treasury. So treasury is the role is is a connector between the business and the banks. Not just bank related stuff. They also sometimes they also manage hedging. I'm not sure whether have you heard about hedging before. Hedging forex. It's not forex. It's trading forex. OctaFX. It's a forex. It's a real forex, foreign exchange. So because if you do some international business, right? So foreign exchange rate is very important. It could impact your gain. It could impact your loss. So it depends. So it's, at the moment, I think today, US dollar is at 4.5 ringgit, $1. Like last week, 4.8. Now, no, 4.3. So now it's higher by 20 cents. So can you imagine how many loss actually at the end of this month? So we have to hedge. Hedge means we have to secure the transaction. I mean, we try to manage to minimize the loss and actually to have more benefits of these forex movements. So because whenever you deal with international business company, you always read your financial statements in based on parent company. So let's say your HQ is US, right, in New York, they will read your financial statement based on US dollar. Like at the one, mine is German, so I have to rate my financial statement as euros. So the movement of the fund is very important, right? Okay. Done with the accounting team. Now we move to the most interesting part, is the financial planning and analysis team, or in short, we call FP&A or controlling. All right. So what this team do? This team actually do manage budgeting, and they very often do business partnering with commercial, with supply chain and marketing. What does business partnering mean? Means, we are partner with commercial to align with to achieve a certain goal. Yeah. So I'm going to explain later on, right, what's their roles in this commercial or supply chain or marketing. And then the next job is they're going to prepare a forecast or income prediction, we call it. And they're going to steer the finance goals of the company. They are the one actually decide how many sales that we have to achieve, how many profit margin that we are going to achieve this year. If we don't achieve this profit margin by this margin, then we're not going to have bonus. So everyone is like, oh, we need to have more margin. We have to have more margin, so you can have more bonus. So this is very important. I mean, like, this is like influence to the sales team to do more sales. So it's not just about sales KPI. It's also more on cost optimization. Where do we can reduce the costs, to achieve this certain profit margin and all of the stuff. And yeah, by monitoring profit margin means we are monitoring our financial healthiness of the company. The more profit margin that we have in the income and statement, I mean, SOI is a statement of income. The more profit margin that we have, the more healthy is the company. Yeah. So we will try our best, in this current situation, going on in the globe, and next year having recession and stuff. So profit margin is very important for any company, not just us, for any company. All right. So usually they will team up with sales. They are actually financial FP&A team sales, FP&A team supply chain, FP&A teams marketing. So basically, like in the FP&A team, they are actually team actually dealing with sales. They are a team actually dealing with supply chain. They are a team dealing with marketing. Yeah, that's in general. Okay. All right. So, are you curious to know what other departments actually? So actually in the business, right? Not just finance, we have also commercial department. Commercial department actually is in general, we call commercial because actually under commercial actually is sales or business development. These two are business, sales and commercial. So they are doing actually who bring the sales to the company. They are actually the person who actually bring incomes. They are like the food to us. If no this department, we cannot live. No this one, we cannot have a cash inflow. So anything we will prioritize this team first, not the other support, this commercial department. They are the first in the company. Usually they are the one who actually have the highest bonus, if you want to know lah. And then we have a marketing department. So marketing department is like our appearance lah as a person. Marketing is not just about advertisement, not just about media agencies, not just about promotion. It's more than that. It's deeper than that, actually. Marketing is huge. Marketing is huge. Marketing is, they are the one actually who handle the brands. Have you ever had a brand manager before, brand executive? So they are handling brand. Means when they're handling a brand, they're handling a pricing of the brand. So this marketing department will coming up with so much research to determine the price. And they are the one who actually will do some research or market research on the what we call I forgot with the terms, market research on the market share of company. Let's say, right, Nestle own like 70% of the food chain in Malaysia. It's an assumption, not a real one. So they are the one actually doing this sort of research. So they're not just advertisement, they're also doing promotion, they're also doing some discount, pricing and all other stuff. And also even the packaging of the pack of the editing. So they're the one in charge. And then we have supply chain department. This is like supply chain actually is a very big department as well. They're actually manufacturing products and then they deliver the products. So that's the role of supply chain. That's what we call supply. So from producing up to delivering the products to customer. Okay. So you must have been wondered, what are our role with them, right? So actually it's quite important. So actually we are doing business partnering to achieve a certain goals by safeguarding our financial health, because this department have their own head, right? They have their own leader, and they want to do some strategy on their own. You know, they have some big ideas here and there to do here and there, but what do they know about our financial health, right? They don't even know how to read our financial statement. So this is where the finance have to step in and advise, whenever you do some this investment, is it beneficial enough or not? So we need to see our financial health before we proceed all of those big ideas that they're going to implement. First, I'm going to go with like business partnering marketing. So usually what the finance do with marketing, right? So usually, right, what we are doing actually is we are making sure actually we have enough investment fund for marketing purposes. So for advertisement, how much accrual we have to put? So let's say we're gonna put 1 million for a year. Then they can use that budget. How many discount we can achieve? Let's say if this product 20%, 20% discount for how long? Is it too much discount can affect our financial or not? So the percentage of discount also is very important. So with all of this investment must come with good ROI. So what's the purpose of, let's say we're going to advertise this product? What are the ROI for us? More market share. If we are going to give more discount, it will affect our profit margin. Yes, it will affect our margin, but we will have more sales. But what's the impact at the end? Because this is a new product, so we need to give more discount to penetrate the market. So this is one of the strategy. So this is how the marketing advice. So then we have to calculate, oh, okay, discount, okay, we cannot give more than 30%. If we give more than 30%, then our financial will not be so good. So we have to advise them, right? So there's so much steps here. And then what are the business partner with commercial? So with commercial, it's always about sales, right? So we are going to have a goal like have more margin, right? So we need them to drive more sales. So we're going to discuss which product actually is a very low margin and we should scrap it off. You don't have to sell this product. We only sell a high margin product. Or if we are using a low product margin, yes, you can use this low product margin, but you have to sell more so they can contribute more to our financial, something like that. So you have to have this discussion with commercial as well. And also we have a supply chain. Supply chain is about manufacturing, it's about delivering, it's all about costs. Anything related to supply chain is all about costs. So whatever that we discuss with them is all about cost efficiency. Why I call about cost efficiency is also related to to improve our margin. So because you remember, right, in accounting, we have sales, cost of sales, and then gross profit. And then we have like expenses, all of these are general expenses. And then we have come to profit margin. This profit margin is actually after you deduct all of those costs. So supply chain is part of cost of sales. So raw material purchase, shipping costs. If we can do more cost efficiency to them, then it will be good to our margin. So that's one of the general roles that or responsibilities that finance have with this department. So they can't just simply, let's say, like for supply chain, they're gonna pick DHL over let's say Post Laju. Post Laju or Mas can ship products to Singapore, right, for a cheaper rate, but they're going to use DHL for higher rate. So for what? So we have to discuss before they can proceed with the ideas. All right. So can you tell me what a finance tools use in day-to-day basis? Maybe just a quick response. I want to see just a quick one. What do you guys think the tools that actually they're using? No one answering. Okay, I'm talking to myself. Okay, thank you, Fateh. Yeah, Excel. Okay, what else? Do you guys know what else except a part of Excel? Or only Excel? It's simple. No, it's also a good response. SQL. Okay, cool topic. Okay. All right. Okay. I think that's it lah. All right. Yes, you are right. All of those answers are right. First, we have Excel or Google Sheet. This is our our base tools that we're going to use. Everything we have to use Excel. It's very powerful tool. You can do some analysis using Excel. Simple analysis, you can use Excel or Google Sheet. And second is ERP, Enterprise Risk I can't recall what is it, but it's actually SAP and Oracle lah. One of the biggest accounting, I wouldn't say accounting software, it's actually ERP. It's not just accounting, actually every department using this system. But SQL is only on, it's part of accounting software, but SAP is more comprehensive and Oracle is more comprehensive. They can perform a lot more than just do accounting entries and stuff. So SAP and Oracle. So if you go LinkedIn, right, you just check in these big companies, right? You go check in the requirement, and sometimes they need SAP experience, ERP experience, Oracle experience, but they want fresh grad. So it doesn't make sense because you cannot get this experience during your study. It's a hands-on experience. And then we have PowerPoint or Google Slide. Why I say PowerPoint and Google Slide? This is the way we project our report. We present to stakeholders. We use this a lot. But this is what accounting uses the most. But what have planning team use? They have an extra apps actually they use in day-to-day when do this some planning and stuff. W, Power BI, and TM1. These are the software that we use, to plan or to forecast our financial planning. So W is like is a one click, and Power BI is more on data visualization, and TM1 is our planning software. And all of this also cannot be learned in during our educational during our university. So it's have to be a hands-on experience. Yep. Okay. Now we move to I'm just gonna give you a bit of this. I mean, how to do a very basic analysis just using Excel. I hope you are ready for this because it's quite technical. So just have a quick wrap and try to understand lah. All right. So for a very basic analysis, to do some analysis in Excel, we have two basic steps, which are first, you have to do the data massage or data cleanup, because whenever you get the data, you have to do some massage, some cleanup to make it more reasonable, and then we have to transform the data. All right. So what is data massage, right? So it's very important, right, to organize our data in a complete way so we can have a better analysis. So there are a lot of formulas can be used to massage data. Actually, these formulas actually like VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index match, concatenate, split tags. Have you heard of this before? Okay, it's okay. So the usage is depending on the missing piece that I see when you receive the raw data. So it's like VLOOKUP it's for finding a certain values to match with a certain code. Like VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index match, and concatenate is the purpose is to mix certain tags from two tags into one tag, and split tags is organize it, because when using the data, right, we want to have a very complete data as much as possible, because when we receive the data, we receive from the system, like for example from SAP or from Oracle. When they generate the raw data, the raw data is very coded and not so much text. And if you want to do analysis, you need some text, to differentiate things. All right. So first, I'm gonna teach you, not teach lah, I'm just gonna show you the VLOOKUP formula, how we do VLOOKUP formula, right? So on the G column on the right side is the raw sales data. This is actually a disclaimer. This is mock data. Yeah, I just created this myself. All right. So this raw sales data actually came from SAP. Example. All right. So they only have a customer code. Usually, right, in SAP, right, we don't put customer name, all of this wording stuff nicely in the system. We all put numbers. So easy. We call it code. So let's say on the G column is a customer code. And then they provide us invoice number. They provide us invoice date, and they provide amount. So if you want to do some analysis, right, you cannot just show them customer code to external stakeholders, to your even internal stakeholders, because let's say for your commercial team, they don't even know this customer code. Only finance know. They only know the customer name. So you have to do something about it before you can present the analysis, right? Then you have to take this on the B column on the left side. This is the customer master data. We have this in the system, right? Where we register this first code 140001 as an Aeon company. The line number 214002 as a Watson. So we have this master data inside the system. So we have to extract this. We have to get this info, and we put it here. This is what we call mapping. All right. And then, so we want to fill up this H column, but you don't want to like filter, copy 1405, take Aeon big and copy paste. That's so lame, I mean, like you don't have this. You have like 22 lines. Actually, in real life, you're like 100,000 lines and stuff. So you don't do what for 1,000 lines for copy paste and stuff, right? So that's the easiest way to do. So we have to VLOOKUP formula. So this VLOOKUP, right? So you put this formula VLOOKUP O4 O column to the 4 row. So they're gonna pick 1405, and they're gonna use apostrophe. And what are the data that actually we retract or we from mapping is B4C18. You remember B4C18. So go back to the mapping here, right? This is B4. So we're taking from this line 4 to C18 to billion here. We are taking this data to match with the G in the row 4. And then we put a comma 2. Why you put 2? Because we are using 2 columns. First column is customer code. Customer code is the code that we have. And then C is the customer name. So we want customer name. So we have to pick the second column. And then comma 0. 0 means we want to true numbers. And then when you click, they will appear as this. Aeon big, Lotus automatically. You just copy paste the formula and then will up to N. And you can get all of this customer name in very short of time, right? And then you have also index match. Index match also is the same thing. It's just that sometimes VLOOKUP, they have their own weakness. Index match, they have their own strength. Because VLOOKUP, right, if you have a multiple code and then we didn't update your master data, sometimes it could, you could pick up the wrong data in the sheet. So sometimes index match is more accurate. Sometimes people like to use index match more than VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is for like a lazy lookup only. So for like a very accurate one, you can use index match. So index match is quite long. So the purpose is the same. It's just that the formula is a bit long. So use index, first index, and then C4C18. Why I said C4C18? Because we want to put, after the index, we want to put what value that you want. So we want a customer name. So customer name is in C4 and C18. So if you C4 and C18, Aeon code and billion is from row 4 to row 18. We want this. And then we're going to match, comma, match with O4 to O22. In the same sheet here, O4 and O22, and B4, B1, B4, B18, sorry. We're going to match O4. This code is the same with this B4 and B18, right? And then comma 0, then bracket, and then they will appear as the same. So this will be more accurate. Usually, people like to use index formula more than VLOOKUP, but not so many people know about index. They are more familiar with VLOOKUP instead of index. All right, and then we have concatenate formula. This is very important as well. For example, right, looking at your left, we have material code, we have material description. When you retract something from system, right, they only have material code and they have any material description, and suddenly, right, when you extract from the into Excel, suddenly it's splitted automatically. And then you want to match this, you want to combine because it's supposed to be cream whitening, lotion whitening, lip basic, face wash, and face cleansing. So we can use concatenate. So you can look at the right, use concatenate I3. I3 is a cream, I and row 3, and then comma, and you put the apostrophe, double apostrophe, space, double apostrophe. Because if you didn't put this space, if you just put I3, comma J3, the cream whitening will be no space. So you have to put some space, and then you put J3. J3 is the whitening here, right? So concatenate, and then it will appear like cream whitening in the below here. So it's very useful for data massage. It's very important to know how to put space. Otherwise, you didn't know how to put space between the text. And there are also some sample when you export the data from the system, right? They give you something like this. You don't even know what this is, right? So it's the same one. You see, on the first 8 numbers actually is the material data, and the 8 on the right actually is the creation date. So the X one means nothing to us. So we can use split text formula. So from this, you can split material code and creation date. So when you take a look at the right, take a look at the left, sorry. So let's say you want the material code. So you know material code is the first on the left, the first 8 digits on the left. So you can use left, G4, select this column, comma, and put 8. You have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this I want 8 digits. And then creation date, also 8 digits. Left, right, G4. You click, enter, then they will appear like on the right side. So you can see it will split nicely. So you can do some analysis on this later on. Then, after you have data massage and data climb is the most painful. It's most painful for us to do that because it's a lot and it consumes a lot of time. Sometimes you need to spend 2-3 hours, to have the most perfect data so that you can make a good analysis. After you have spent all of those hours, you have a good data, then you have to transform the data. So when we transform the data, right? So for very easy analysis, one of the most powerful tool actually in the Excel actually is a pivot table. Have you heard about pivot table before? I don't think so. You have heard. I don't know. But actually, pivot table is very powerful. From pivot table, also you can make a very simple dashboard, and this is like a game changer. So if you want to impress your employer, you can try to do the simple dashboard using a pivot table. So they will like surprise for your, for your entry level as you guys later on can do something like this. It's really a game changer. Because sometimes, right, if you see, right, if you do some work, right, for all of this junior executive, right, they only refer from the past working papers and just follow everything. And then they don't really, to do some creative way to present the data. All you can see is like a lot of tabs in the Excel, a lot of figures, a lot of tables here and there, but they never summarize everything. So when you in future, right, when you be a junior executive, try to think, how to have a more presenting, how to be more creative in presenting the data. All right. All right. So I'm going to teach, not teach that, I just going to show you how to use the pivot table function. So on the Excel, right, you can take a look at the insert tab here, and then you can use this pivot table. Actually, they have you can click on this, but before that, they have one rule. The data arrangement must in column set. They must have to be in this format. You cannot be like customer code on the row column. Cannot. You must have in the column side. You cannot be on the row side. Let's say for customer code and B column, all the customer codes here. On C column, only customer name. D, invoice number. E, invoice receipt. F, amount. So that's the rules as a pivot table. So data arrangement, you must remember, on the first line must be the title, and the below is will be the data sets. All right. Then, okay, first you have to select all of those data. So you see, right, once you select, then you click the clip over, you see they will show you this B5F24, right? So I'm selecting B5, this customer code, and F24 up to the giant down below. So I only select this, and then I click pivot table, and it will appear this. And then you can choose where you want to place the pivot, whether you want to put in a new worksheet or you want to put in as a single sheet. This is up to your choice. Once you click OK, they will appear like this. It's very empty. So you need to work on this. So it's like a empty canvas. Now you want to put what inside here, because they already grabbed the data. Now what you want to portray here. Then when you click this picture, right, suddenly on your right side of Excel, they will show this field. They call it pivot table fields. You see, this will, because you select customer, because you select B5 up to F5, right? This is like a title. So there will appear title here, right? Customer code, customer name, invoice number, invoice date. And then you can drag or you can click whether you want to filter it, or you want to put it as a column, or you want to put it as a row, or you can put it as a values. So for my basic analysis, I want to have customer name as in my row, and I want invoice amount in the values. So when I drag customer name up to rows, and I click amount to values, they will appear like this. This after I select, click and drag. Sorry, I missed this this one. And then your data will auto display as this. So it's just like a summary in short. You see? You want to see the data like this, or you want to see like this? Of course, for people like us, we want to see a more convenience or more, pleasing to see lah, because you can see everything in one screen. Like this, like if you have like 1,000, or you have to scroll, and you have to manually calculate it. Okay, so they show everything. So 7-Eleven, they have some amount for those period. That's 67,000, 99 CIMA, 33.9 stuff, and we've grand total of 491,000 ringgit. Okay, but I'm not gonna just show you up to this. This is only for transform the data. But actually, the most part, actually, you can do whatever. Actually, what you can do more about pivot table, actually, you can turn this into this. I just created this very simple sales dashboard for Q1 for these customers. All right. So using this one, right? Okay, this is your on the left side bottom, right? This is your pivot table, and I just added one more column as a percentage. So I want to see how many percentage that they contributed to the sales. So let's say for Lotus, they contributed 21%, Ayong Big 20%, Ayong Gold 40% of the sales for Q1. And from here, right, you can also create a graph. So you can use this. You can click on the right click. They have a button, and then you can convert this into a graph. And you can select what graph do you want. Then you can show this. So you can see Lotus at what near to 1 million and Young Big close to 1 million as well and stuff. So you can see like, oh, very general overview of the customer sales for quarter 1. A good dashboard not just portray numbers and graph. You have to have explanation on the side. Otherwise, people wouldn't understand. Okay, for sales, it's obviously very simple, right? But for other dashboard, right, like margin and stuff, that other people wouldn't understand the changes. So we need to explain on the right. So try to train yourself, right? Whenever you see things, right, try to put a notes on the right side. So let's say this is my sim plus analysis that I'm doing for this one. I put a note. So the biggest sales in quarter 1 is coming from Lotus, actually comprised of what? 21% of sales. So I can see the data here and actually match with my notes. And the lowest sales is coming from KK Mart. They only achieve 1%. And then the question will come, how can we push more sales for next quarter? So, and then what is our strongest product? Because how can Lotus can sell more and but the others are not? What we're missing here? So when you do this, you can trigger your critical thinking here, only from showing a percentage. You see, right? It's very important, right? So that's the very basic dashboard that I can show you for the night lah. All right. And then we have one feature that actually a game changer when we show the dashboard. we don't want just to show only quarter 1 as a total. So in the red box here, right, you can see it's invoice date. So I purposely picked this because I want to see January, February, and March. Quarter 1 means January, February, and March, right? So where you can find this? This feature actually called slicer in the Excel. So how do you find this one, right? When you click the pivot table analyze, you can put this inside slicer inside timeline. So this tool is very powerful tool. It's just that you don't have to filter everything if you want to see something. So you just simply click and then the data will move. Let me show you some example here, right? So I want to show you, okay, now you see now 4.9 million is at quarter 1 sales, right? I just click one, January, and then they will show you, okay, these are the sales coming from January. 1.2 million, Giant are the biggest contributor, around 50%, right? Air awareness contribute around 39%. But what happened in February? When I click February, Aeonco actually contribute around 52%, and Garden is around 38% something. So sometimes, right, the big totals doesn't represent the actual happen. Sometimes, right, maybe Lotus only sell 1 million only in March, but not in February, but not in January. So sometimes it's playing around with this also is very powerful for your audience later on. All right. Okay, so I think I have more bit of time now. How can we apply analysis? Maybe I can just show you a bit of this, just a quick one, right? So just one quick tip for you guys, for students, right? The easiest and the quickest way to apply analysis is to calculate percentage of grand total or percentage change over periods. Right? You understand? Percentage of grand total or percentage change over a period. So from there, you can analyze the incremental or decremental of certain figures. And then you can use a green or red color to distinguish the difference. All right? So this is like a real, not real, sorry, this is a made up data. And this is how financial planning are measuring the low product margin, the non-selling products lah, right? So let's say we have like trade returns in market sales. So trade returns is return, in market sales is market sales. So you can see the returns of IMS is 7%, 12% for 2020, and then 2021 is 5% and 10%, 17%. And then on the I column is a percentage of change from 2021 to 2020. You see, right? Okay, I just showed a quick analysis on the product A only. Return versus IMS or return versus sales is 7% on 2020, 2021 is 5%. So what is the percentage change? It's around 2 to 3%. Is growing, is lesser. It's lesser means good because there are less returns. Something like that. It depends lah. It depends on the analysis lah. If sometimes negative is not good, sometimes negative is good. So based on this case, the negative is good because we want to reduce as much as possible the returns. So then this is where roles of the other department can help make an analysis, right? Commercial will advise why products are not selling, right? They can advise lah on the product B why the sales is 77 million instead of last year 79 million. They can advise. And then the logistics can explain the reason of the returns. Why there are so much return in 2020 instead of 2021. You see in product A 4.4 million, but 2021 is 3.9. Maybe some of the return actually damaged or dented stock or expired, so they can return. This is a very basic analysis I can show to you. I think it's very, we have a very short of time. So where you guys can learn all of this. First, you can do a self-practice. I just show you how to use Excel. You can take a data from the internet. You can just Google, you want what kind of data, then you can do your own. You can practice on your own, make your own dashboard, or you can take an online course, but you have to pay a bit of money, but actually it's a good learning process. Or lastly, intern. Intern is actually an actual working experience. This is the time where you have to ask everything to your supervisors or your seniors. You have to understand the business and try to learn as much as possible. All right. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. So I'm passing back to Adlan for anything. So you can ask me if any lah. All right. Thank you so much. Over to you, Adlan.
All right, thank you, Mr. Zaki. Moving on to the Q&A session. If participants here would like to ask anything to Mr. Zaki and Ms. Bet, feel free to write in the chat box or you can unmute your mic. And then in the meantime, to others, please fill in the attendance form provided in the chat box.
I do have a question for Mr. Zaki. You are currently in the FMG industry as cost accountant. Is it possible for you to change into another industry?
I'm sorry. Who and what was the question again? I can't really hear.
Is it possible for you to change into another industry?
Oh, okay. Good question. Actually, I'm not a cost accounting. I'm actually FP&A, financial planning team. Not a cost accounting. It's a different team, it's a different thing. All right. So yes, it's very possible. So let's say with the knowledge or the experience that I will gain for financial planning, for sure we can go a lot of industry such as oil and gas. We can go as well. We can jump into that. Maybe we can go to banking whenever they needed the planning. We can go. It's not a very strict. You can only just stay in one FMCG industry. No. You can always have a chance to go to other industry as well, provided that you have a good experience and skills lah. All right.
Question from Izzat. Is there any other sponsorship programs apart from Yayasan Peneraju? I believe this question is for Ms. Bet.
Izzat, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Izzat, for now lah. The only government funding that we managed to secure is Yayasan Peneraju. So yeah, you can apply for Yayasan Peneraju unless you're already a Peneraju scholar lah. Then maybe got some term and condition there. But yeah, for now, the only government funding is Yayasan Peneraju. Is that? And then Taufik asks, does CIMA offer any program to those who have CGPA lower than 3.5? Yes, of course, Taufik. Only the A-star program got CGPA requirement. All other programs would have CGPA requirements, such as the Finance Leadership Program. The FLP, ada one tak ada CGPA requirement. So even though, so those of you who didn't achieve CGPA 3.5 are not eligible for the A-star program, you can always enroll for the FLP program. That is actually the second quickest pathway for you to complete CIMA. That's the second. The first A-star, of course, because one exam je lah kan. And then Shazana asks, is A-star program conducted online like CGMA? No, Shazana. The A-star program is a little bit lain lah, because FLP, you kena go through all the subjects and then you sit for the case study exam, right? But A-star program, it is a little bit different in the sense that you attend physical classes for like 1.5 months, and then you sit for the case study exam. So the physical revision classes will actually cover topics on your E3, P3, and F3, the 3 subjects under the strategic level. So the classes will cover those 3 topics, and they will also cover macam mock exams lah, pre-scene analysis lah, case study analysis. They will cover all that lah under the classes. Tapi kalau FLP, everything online, study materials, everything provided. It is optional for you to attend classes. That one optional lah, but recommended juga lah to prepare you for the case study exam, right? Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. And then Asrin asked, for the case study papers, would working experience help a lot for the exam as compared to full-time studying with no working experience? Honestly speaking, I would say that working experience would slightly help in terms of your case study preparation, because the case study exam or the case studies is actually very practical in the sense that how do you apply all those knowledge and skills that you have acquired in the CIMA syllabus and apply it in all these practical scenarios, right? So all these practical scenarios, they are all based on real life lah, macam the problems that most likely will occur when you go out into the workforce later. So it would really test on your, I would say that it would really test on your decision-making skills and also your critical thinking skills lah, I would say, because all the case study exam, you have to put yourself in the shoes tadi macam senior finance manager lah kan. So as a senior finance manager of the team, how do you go about and tackle all this issue that is being presented to you by your CFO, for example? Yeah, maybe ZAKI, you want to add on? ZAKI already duduk the CIMA exam. Maybe you have some advice.
Yes. As Pat spoke, right? The case study, right? When they show you the real, actually, it's really on the hands-on working experience. It's really because in real situation, right? You're gonna receive an email from your CFO or from senior manager, and you have to answer directly from the email. So it seems like whatever that CIMA concept here is trying to do. It's going to train you on how you answer the question based on email and how you know to be more like a to give you a real hands-on experience on during this exam. So you can actually saw the example that has been shown by Pat earlier on. So that's a real situation. Yep.
And the exams are all very much it's not very technical lah. I would say the operation level sikit technical because operational level lah kan. Tapi management level and strategic level is less and less technical, more into strategic planning lah, decision making and all that. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. It's just how you apply all those knowledge and skills and just ensure that it's logical lah. I would say, yeah, logical.
Yep. And some of the I just added some point photo, but because remember this the MCS and SCS, right? So they're gonna train you to speak with the senior leaders. So the way you answer the question also have to, you know, to be more to adapt. Sometimes, right, not just senior leaders are not just to CFO. Sometimes CEO. CEO doesn't know what financial term is. Sometimes to marketing director. Sometimes to, you know, other posts, not just to CFO. So the financial term also sometimes not relevant there. So that's why CIMA is trying to train you guys to know to be more comprehensive in answering question, not just on using your finance literacy and etc. Yep, it's right, Bettina? I hope.
All right, and then another question from Izzat. To Mr. Zaki, what is your opinion on why most of graduates opt for financial accounting instead of management accounting? Is management accounting significantly harder than financial accounting?
Yeah, it's a very great question. I love this question. I love this question. You know why most graduate opted for financial accounting instead of management accounting? Because first, fresh graduate are very rare to see management accounting. They are not really hiring fresh grad to do management accounting, because if you go through LinkedIn, right, all the FP&A executive, even the lowest FP&A executive, right, they need a 3 to 4 years experience in accounting. Means that's why I wanted to go to FP&A, I have to do financial accounting first. So I went to Colgate, I do accounting team, I do GA, I do AP, I do AR. This is where your basic is coming from. You have to understand financial statement. At the very basic, you have to understand the very uh, uh, careful. And then from there, you can move to FP&A. Usually they need experience. And then, yeah, and then by having a CGMA, that will help very much. I think they look forward to have some, management accountant certified some more, right? So they all love it. So management accounting is not just about cost accounting. That's one also misconception that they had in students. It's not just about cost accounting. It's more on planning and team. Planning and analysis, financial planning, FP and analysis team. So it's not just cost accounting. It's planning. Right? Okay. Thank you. I hope this answers lah. Is that, or you want more?
And mostly kalau and like just to tambah sikit, CIMA, a lot of macam CFO or C-suite level apply for CIMA because they are already at that level, so they require all these skills and knowledge, right? Because at that level, memang lah, it's not just about technicality, right? You are expected to lead your people, you're expected to lead your organization, so it makes sense for them to apply for CIMA because CIMA is all about management accounting, decision making lah kan, as opposed to FA. And if you ask a lot of working adults, they would always say, as a fresh graduate, be an auditor first lah kan, go into the big four, get exposed to the auditing role or whatsoever. And yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense because, of course, as an accounting, as a fresh graduate, always your first role, most of the time will be as an auditor lah kan. So it's a good opportunity for you to be exposed in all these macam AR, like AP and all that. But later on, as you naik your career progression, CIMA definitely will help you lah, I would say, right? Definitely will help you. Nazim asked about ISTA program. Apart from obtaining 3.5 CGPA, is there any other interview requirement to enroll in ISTA program? No, Nazim. Besides the 3.5, there are no other requirement. Tapi if you apply for the Yayasan Peneraju Scholarship, that one memang ada interview lah. Tapi don't worry, the interview is very basic interview. It's not difficult, right? They will ask very basic information from yourself. But if you are bearing the fees yourself, that's all lah. You just hand in your application. And then I will send in for approval. Once approved, you can straight away enroll as a student lah. Tapi peneraju punya proses lengthy sikit lah. You kena apply, you kena submit all the document, you kena attend the interview, and then only you will be, they will let you know lah whether you approve ke tak. Tapi typically, if students fulfill all those requirements, they submitted all the documents, there's no reason for you to be rejected by peneraju, because most of the time, student yang reject peneraju, not peneraju reject the students. That's the cases that every time occur lah. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Nazim. Yeah.
I think there is no more question. If that's the case, thank you, Mrs. Zaki and Ms. Bet and the participants, and I hope that the answers from Mrs. Zaki and Ms. Bet clarify your query. But before we end our session today, I would like to ask everyone to open your camera for the photography session. And for Mrs. Zaki, it's okay. uh,